As always, in all grand strategy titles, there's always small information that is hidden at plain sight. This is one of the things that most of the people that get for the first time in this type of genre is going to be a wall that they are going to smash, and then they are going to see, this is not for me. It is completely understandable. But in the whole thing that you see here, there's always very useful shortcuts that are going to make your life easier if you know where to find it. Now, you may see here up in the left upper corner, you see the flag of your country. This is where you click and you're going to be presented with all of these important buttons. The first button that we see here is Trade Resources. Trade Resources, if you click here, you're going to see the button in which you are going to be able to trade all of the resources. This is the window that you're going to be presented with. But there's another way to access the trade resources. You need to pull up the management window, and over here you go straight to the other tab that is called Economy. In the left side, you're going to see Budget, Finances, and then Resources. Click Resources. Over here, you're going to see the resources, but up in here is the button hidden called Trade Resources, which is exactly the same button that you see here. The other button that we see here is Projects. Projects is the button that will put us in the window that we will be able to research technologies. How do we access to the project window in the management window? Well, through Government, down here in Projects, you're going to see the button called Projects also. The next button is Military Staff. Military Staff will show us all of the things that we need to manage in regard of the army. To access military staff through the management window, you go to the Military tab. Down here you see the Military Staff button, so you click here to access the same window. Colonization. Colonization is accessible through the management window through Economy. Down here to Colonization tab. Here you find the Colonization button. Next button, the block composition. In this case, we have no blocks whatsoever because we are just beginning. You can also access to the block composition through the Government tab in the management window and going here to the basic information down here in block composition. Unification, the one that I just showed previously, is the way the game challenged you to do different type of things, such as unify America and unify South America, and this is going to be changed in regard of the country that you select. How do you access the unification window? There's another way to access here. You go to the management window, Government, and Diplomacy. Here you can see unification. Now it's time to dive deep into the numbers, because numbers are one of the most interesting thing for us wargamers and grand strategy lovers. So here we see white numbers. The white numbers are the actual numbers that you possess. Beneath the white numbers, you see either green numbers or red numbers. As a rule of thumb, green means positive, green means good, green means revenue. Red means negative, red means penalties, red means bad. So here we can see that money in red means that we're losing this amount of money. In the other hand, plus 4,300 means that we are getting this amount of action points for the next month. We already talked about score. Score is going to be relative to the amount of provinces that you own as a country. The bigger your country, the more score points you will process each month. As you can see, we are processing 100 score points each month. But the thing is that because of that single fact, this is going to imply that you need to expand. And that is the premise of Realpolitiks. The more you expand and the more territories you conquer, the more score you get. Another way that you're going to assess your score is through statistics. In this button, you can assess how much score you have in comparison with other countries and what is the number here. You want to see who is the number one with how many score points. So you can see that United States begin at the top, second Russia, third China, fourth France, fifth United Kingdom. Pretty interesting. You can lock your country here and you can see what's the number in which your country is and how much score it has. You can also show neighbors, which is going to show you all the neighbors that you collide with, and blocks if you so have a block. Now, before continuing, let me show you something interesting. Let me expand the management window, and you can see that we are right now in the government tab, and I will return to basic information. So you're going to see what happens if I click the score. It's going to redirect me straight to the tab that has to do with victory conditions. And the same thing is going to happen if I click the money. It's going to redirect me to the economy tab. And it's going to show me here in the management window everything that has to do with the economy. The same thing applies to anything that you click here, action points, the government, the basic information where the action points are located here. So you can see if you click here, you're going to expand everything that is contributing to the amount of those action points. So money is very useful because money is going to be needed to get projects. Projects are going to use money. Buildings are going to use money. And also recruitment of spies and military staff, such as generals. Now, at this point, you may ask yourself, for what do I need action points? Well, action points are very useful if you want to do actions. We haven't talked about actions, but actions are things that you can do inside your own country or into opponent's country, such as cooperative actions, aggressive actions, block actions, and positive actions. Let's say that we want to do a positive actions with Bolivia, just for the sake of demonstration purposes, and we want to gain a favor. It's going to cost us action points. So action points are needed to do such things. Now let's talk about the resources. Resources are needed for different things, especially if you want troops. Troops are going to use metals, different tanks, and airplanes are going to use fuel and metals. Also, troops will need fuel, especially because fuel is the actual energy that you put into the machines of war to move, so on and so forth. If you click here, you're going to be, if you click the actual resource, you're going to be presented with the economy tab in the resources that we talked about before. The current value of the metals and the current value of the fuels and the current value of the rare earth elements, and this is the monthly gain. And then you have more segmented the actual situation with this. What are the factors that create the actual fuels in your state, the factors that create the metals in your state, so on and so forth. Armies, the projects, the buildings are going to spend the resources, and agriculture, mines, and how do you exploit the land is going to produce the actual resource. So when you click here as well, the GDP growth is going to throw you into the tab of finances in the economy section, and you can see all the factors here that are contributing to the GDP growth. HDI, I just touched it at the beginning, but HDI is the Human Development Index. The Human Development Index is going to determine how developed and advanced your state is. If you click here, you're going to be presented with all of the project categories in the projects window, and you're going to see all the things that you can research over here. Now, this thing here is important, but if you want to get some of the actual technologies, you would need either to reduce the HDI or to increase. So it is going to be dependent the amount of things that you can click in here in regard of how much HDI you have or how much less HDI you have. If you want to recruit troops, you just click the manpower and you're going to be presented with the barracks and the shipyards. As it is self-explanatory, barracks will allow you to recruit troops. In Brasilia here, which is the capital, you can see that in here in Brasilia, you see the parliament. You have access to the troops here as well. If you click the parliament, and you can recruit troops through this button and also through here. But you can see that is saying that the barracks are located in Brasilia and the shipyard is located in Lago dos Patos, which is, if you see here, it's over here. It's because of the shipyard that you have here. And here also you can recruit ships as you wish. These units that you see here are dependent on your projects and how you develop the military power of your nation. In the beginning of 2021 in Brazil, we can recruit helicopters, commandos, which are elite troops, air fighters, planes, panzer divisions, which are tanks, and normal soldiers, which is infantry, called mechanized infantry because they are using APVs. For superpowers, as I mentioned before, you can click here missile count, but in this case we don't have missiles, and here you're going to see the nuclear power of your. Here, if you see the date, you can click and change the display format of the date. You can go for the year, the month, and the day. This is the Asiatic way of showing the date. Then you can go for the day, the month, and the year, or the month, the day, and the year. Something that I just forget to mention is the button here in the map modes, in which you can see more, which is this I button here. You can see province, other stuff here. For example, you can see metals, how much metals each province is providing. You can see fuels. You can see province and happiness separated within each other. You can see rare earth elements. Also, you can see province environment degradation. This is for the case that you start doing mines and stuff. Province target unhappiness. Then you see GDP separated in each province. The province rebellion chance as well, which is 0 at the beginning. Here you can see the score of each of the regions that you can see. Then you have the province unhappiness. Then down here, country, you see the warmonger, how warmongers or other countries are. Here you can assess that. You can assess that province unit count, including unit count of other countries, which is something that is going to create a little bit of an easy understanding of the forces that you can start to calculate in between yours and the enemy if you want to attack a neighboring country. Something interesting to note, but I wouldn't use this because this means that you're going to be very it's going to be very easy to understand that, for example, 24,000 for Colombia, it's pretty much a huge amount in comparison to attack Panama. But in this case, you know that you are the most powerful. If that is the kind of information that you would like, I think it's good. This is war losses. We have war count. We have HDI as well in comparison with other countries that are surrounding you. This is another easy way to understand this. Action points that other countries and yours as well is actually having stocked. Then you have interventionism, militarism, and personal control. If you don't want to see those information over here in the government tab, you can always see it here. Finally, the unemployment, and then you can compare with other countries as well.